complex ones like this, you can hand cut around the print, but just make sure you don't actually cut the vinyl, because I just want to see alignment wise that everything looks good. I mean, it's never going to be absolutely perfect, it's just the nature of the beast. But as long as this middle piece, you can see around the button looks good, and around the visor, that's kind of your alignment. And it looks like this piece will actually fit close enough. But if it's out like that, or like that slightly, your eye doesn't really see it when it's on the helmet. So don't be really anal about trying to get it absolutely perfect. It can be done. I've seen professional installers take these O2 wraps and install them, and they get it absolutely perfect. But you know, we're do-it-yourselfers, so I think on this one I'm going to install this panel first and let everything else fall in place around it, and we should be good. Like I said, take your time and take your care. These wraps are as good as the person that puts them on. I had one customer actually take one to a local sign guy, and he installed it, or girl, and she installed it for the customer. So, you know, that's a smart way to do it. They have techniques and tools to get it done, and laying vinyl second nature to most of these guys. But I'm just setting this in place ever so lightly until I get everything lined up. And when I'm using light pressure here, I'm just using enough, it would be enough pressure to caress the keys on a keyboard, but not enough to actually press a key on a computer keyboard. And I've got the back lifted up here. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just working from the front to the back along the curve. And as I go, I'm just light pressure until it lays down. You're going to probably have some extra vinyl here, but like I said, gentle heat will actually take out those. I'm just going to keep working that vinyl down. It's tricky because it's two different angles. You've got different directions. You're going back on a curve, and then you're going up on a curve. So take your time and just gently caress this into place. And don't press down if you see any little tunneling, because the heat will take out that tunnel, that little wrinkle, so to speak. So I'm happy with that. You'll see if I move it around the light, you'll see there's a little bit of tunneling there, but that extra material will be gone as soon as I apply heat to it. Just heat it until the vinyl starts to move. And gently press it into place. It'll shrink a bit, but it's not going to go crazy shrunk. And I'm just gently rubbing it in, and there you go. And you see I've got extra material at the back. You can either trim that, or I'm just going to press it in. That piece is down perfectly. And this side piece we can just line up like so. Like I said, see, it's not perfect there, but it's perfect here. So it's just the nature of the stretch of the vinyl that you won't get it, 100% of the time. So I'm just gently pressing this into place. The back is just set into place, it's not stuck down yet. See, I can lift this. Well, maybe that is. I won't lift it. I'll just gently work my way along that seam. And these letters go over top of the curve, so you want to make sure you get it stuck around along this line first before you fold anything over that ridge. I'm using fairly hard pressure here, medium pressure I'd say, along here because it's going on nice. There's not any really huge wrinkling going on. I'm going to leave that flap up while I finish the front here. I don't think I need to put any heat on this because it seems to be a fairly straight, flat line. We'll see what happens as we get over this ridge though. Oh, there's one little tunnel there. But you want to make sure you press it in over the ridge. Pushing it along that ridge to make sure that it's down. Now you see I've got extra material there. I'll just give her a little bit of touch of the heat. Got a little bit of a tunnel there happening. There we go. Very stretchy when it's hot like that. So we want to make sure if we're going to reposition or anything, you want to let it right cool. But you see the time I'm taking on this. It's turning out beautifully. Got a little bit of a wrinkle there, but I don't want to go too crazy with the heat because I don't want to melt that vinyl. But that is satisfactory to me, that's for sure. I'm going to put something in the corner there to push that down. Again, this doesn't have to line up. It's not going to be perfect. I think it adds some interest to it if it isn't. Going right along the top edge here, just like that, right along the top edge, and then just gently bring it down the face, bring it down to the chin. Just like that. That's one of the easiest pieces to put on, actually. That's looking good. See how you can still see it says skidoo there? Doesn't have to be perfect. Now the hard part. So on this one, the new technique is we're going to start at the front and work our way back, but we want to line this up first. Looks like right there. So we're going to push that front down. We're gonna go in curving motions as we go. I'm kind of pulling the back. I'm not stretching it. I'm just holding it back out of the way. And we're going from the center outward. Just lightly pressing again, caressing that vinyl. And the thing about this panel is once you get to this point here about his hairline, it starts to get easier because it becomes a more flat profile of the helmet. Got a little bit of a ripple there. I know heat'll bring that one out to perfection. We're going to keep going here. Just like that. Now she's good for heat. But you can see his shoulder's not perfectly lined up, but that doesn't matter. Got a little bit of a tunnel there. So I'm just going to pull him tighter. And thumb it down. Just like so. And you see I've got a little bit of a tag here. Oh, you can see that. I'm just going to take some scissors and trim it. Just like that, and then press it around the curve. And that's side one done to absolute perfection. Not a wrinkle in it. Now we'll do the top back. This is actually trickier than what it looks. You think it would be flat, but it's not. So we are just going to line up with the center point of the tail light here and this bottom corner. And we want to make sure I'm just setting it in place so that I know that the other one will line up here. And you want to make sure that this one you can get the butt right edge to edge. Like so. But I want to make sure that corner looks good, and it doesn't. See how it's on an angle up there? So I'm just going to pull this one here. I'm going to straighten it. I'm going to bring it up just a bit because I need that room. Like that. Let's see this one. And that, my friend, is better. Again, from the center outward. And if you have to pull it tight a little bit, you can, but don't really reef and stretch it, or you'll change the shape of that panel and change the shape of the vinyl. We don't want that. This one was just set in place so I can remove it and realign it. With the middle, it should look like that. Rock in peace. Nice little tribute to Eddie Van Halen here. Greatest guitar player to ever live. little heat along the edge. I've got some extra vinyl there. See some bubbles, and I'm going to push to the outside edge. Oh, beautiful. This side here looks perfect, actually. What do you think of that? We've got a U-clear bracket here we're going to work with. Again, because this is a complex image, I'm going to start here. This panel is a little bit odd because it's got the little lever cut out, but you'll see how it goes. And you just kind of set it in as long as there's even space around it all. We're actually at the visor here. And you can move the visor lever back and forth so that it's out of the way as you're working it. But again, starting from this front, I'm going to work my way along towards the back. Someone asked me if they can put this on wet. That means a lot of installers will put a little bit of soapy water on the helmet first, and it allows the graphic to slide around, as well as bubbles to transfer a little bit more properly. This is Control Tack 3M, so it's got a channel release system in it anyway. I always like putting them on dry. That's just my personal preference. And that way it's stuck and you can almost use it right away. Got a small tunnel there, small wrinkle, but it's no big deal. I should have more time on that, but I love textured backgrounds because it hides that. Line old Eddie up here as best we can. Looks like that's the spot. Again, I'm lifting up the tail. I'm not worrying too much about little bubbles along the edge. I'm not pressing them in. I'm just letting the vinyl work its way down itself. Oh, that's the wrinkle from below coming through the top. That's the thing, it's the thickness of a human hair, this material, so any little bit of material that's tipped up or a fleck of dust or anything on the helmet will show through. If you have a deep gouge, it will show through in the helmet. Give her an overall heat up. piece is down to perfection. Pretty happy with this. I got one little small wrinkle so far once on the whole job. And you can see he looks great. This is tricky because we've got the U-clear bracket. So we'll set it like this. Push it right into the bracket. I don't want to really stick a bracket on top of the vinyl if I can avoid it, so I'm just going to cut along here like this. You can see. We're going to cut right down. Cut that piece right off. Makes it easy to install anyway. Just trying to lift this O up a bit so I can get it over that hump. There. Like I said, make sure it's pressed in along the groove because you don't want it to have a gap there where moisture or snow or anything can get in. That looks good. This one I can see the top of the U-clear bracket here. So if I poke through the vinyl, like so with a knife, and just run it straight up, parallel to the edge, I should be able to stick that down like that. Then I'm going to cut along the side, like so. Be careful not to cut your shell. It's the worst thing you could do. Just enough pressure in the knife to cut the vinyl, not the shell. And a sharp X-Acto knife is the key here, folks. Cutting just along the tape line on the U-clear mount. Just like that. When the U-clear is on, I'll hide that anyway. Next is a little vent piece. Lastly, the front. And again, line the front up to where you want it to be stuck down, like that. Looks good. Then you're going to start at the button, and you're going to go along the top, like so. And then once you get the top all down, you're going to start to go down the chin. Because it's nice and flat. It's a nice flat surface, so it's easy to squeegee it down. Just like so. Look at that. And then I provide these little O2 wrap decals here. I think they look cool right on the button. And if you put those on, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the good comments I'm getting on these wraps and the referrals we've been getting. I also provide 2 extra top pieces with every kit. So if you do make a mistake on this piece, you've got an extra one to go with. And I'm going to take a big O2 wraps, stick her right here. So that's how I wrap the Eddie Van Halen tribute helmet.